Hello, I'm Kay. Good to see you again. Following the relative pronoun we studied in previous lesson, we are going to talk about relative adverb for today's class. A relative adverb is much easier and simpler than its counterpart, so you don't have to worry about that because it's really easy and straightforward. And we have similarity and difference between relative adverb and relative pronoun, so we are going to talk about it in the class later. Okay. So if you are ready to study today's grammatical point, then let's get started. It's really embarrassing. Anyway, as you can see, relative adverb is the main key point we are going to deal with. There are 4 relative adverbs: where, when, why, how. Just like the case of the relative pronoun, a relative adverb also depends on the noun ahead of them. Just you should choose proper relative adverb depending on the noun ahead of it. So look at this. When you have the noun related to the place, such as building, house, earth, Mars, church, something like that, then we should have where, relative adverb where. And when the noun is the word related to the time, such as hour, year, week, month, something like that, then we should have when, relative adverb when. And we have the word, the reason, then we should have why, and the way, how. Like this, relative adverbs depend on, count on, rest on, fall back on the noun ahead of them. On the other hand, what they have in common is that they have the complete sentence behind them. This is what they have in common. Okay? This is all for relative adverb. It's really easy. So let's solve the problems. Look at this. The first sentence is, I went to the place blank, he was born. Just noun is the place, and we have a complete sentence, he was born. When the sentence is in just a passive form, then the subject and the verb makes the sentence complete. The he was born, just verb is passive voice, so this sentence is complete sentence. So place, complete sentence, place, complete sentence. Look at this. Place, complete sentence, then we should have relative adverb where. So correct answer is where. I went to the place where he was born. The next sentence. This is the day blank I first met her. The day is the noun related to the time, and I is the subject, met is the verb, her is the object, it's complete sentence, time, complete sentence, time, complete sentence, then time, complete sentence, then we should have when. So correct answer is this is the day when I first met her. Tell me the reason, blank, you can agree with me, the reason, and complete sentence, the reason, complete sentence, reason, complete sentence, then we should have why. And the last one, this is the way blank he solved the problem. The way he solved the problem, he is subject, solved is verb, and problem is object. So subject, verb, object, complete sentence, way, complete sentence, way, complete sentence, then we should have how. So we solve these problems. I went to the place where he was born. This is the day when I first met her. Tell me the reason why you can agree with me. This is the way how he solved the problem. But I went to the place where he was born. This is the day when I first met her. Tell me the reason why you can agree with me. Those 3 sentences are correct sentences, but when it comes to talking about the last one, this is the way how he solved the problem. This sentence is wrong. This sentence is incorrect sentence. So I'll talk about that, why this sentence is incorrect. Before talking about that, let's solve these problems first. Look at this. Sunday is the day, blank, he visits his mom. These questions ask you to choose a proper one between relative pronoun and relative adverb. And the way you distinguish between relative adverb and relative pronoun is that you should check it out whether the sentence behind it is complete or incomplete. Look at this. Usually, relative adverb have complete sentence behind them. On the other hand, in contrast, on the contrary, a relative pronoun have just incomplete sentence behind them. We don't have either subject or object. Of course, just whose is exception, whose is a complete sentence, but among 6 relative pronouns, who, whom, that, which, what, whose, among 6 of them, only this one, whose has a complete sentence, and rest of them have incomplete sentence. So complete sentence, incomplete sentence is the key to distinguish between them. Complete sentence, incomplete sentence. Complete sentence, relative adverb. Incomplete sentence, relative pronoun. You know what I mean? Look at this. Sunday is the day, blank, he visits his mom. He is subject, visits is verb, his mom is object. He visits his mom. Complete sentence. Complete sentence, then we should have relative adverb. Complete sentence, we should have a relative adverb. So correct answer is Sunday is the day when he visits his mom. The next question. I met a woman, blank, lives in Korea. There's no subject, lives is a verb, there's no subject, so incomplete sentence, then we should have relative pronoun. Incomplete sentence, then we should have a relative pronoun. So correct answer is I met a woman who lives in Korea. I like the poem, blank, you write. You is a subject and write is verb, but there's no object. Incomplete sentence, then we should have a relative pronoun. Incomplete sentence, relative pronoun. So I like the person which I like the poem which you write is correct sentence. You know what I mean? Okay. Then let's talk about the omission of a relative adverb. You can omit relative adverb in the sentence. Look at this. When you have the noun just related to place and time, or when you have the word reason in front of relative adverb, then you can omit relative adverb like this. So the place where is okay, place is okay, the time when is okay, time is okay, reason why is okay, reason is okay. But for the last case, this case has a different story. When you see the words, the way how together, then this is incorrect sentence. This is wrong. You have to get rid of one of them. You have to get rid of one of them. You necessarily remove one of them. So when you see the way how together, then this is wrong sentence. So that is why I said this is the way how he solved the problem. I said this sentence is wrong. The reason is that the way how just together, then this means it's incorrect sentence. So we have to get rid of one of them. So this is how he solved the problem is correct. or this is the way he solved the problem is correct. Okay, you have to get rid of one of them. And another one. And Sunday is the day when he visits his mom. You can omit this when in the sentence. So Sunday is the day he visits his mom is okay. But what about this one? What about relative pronoun? So look at this. Let's talk about the omission of a relative pronoun. There are 3 cases for relative pronoun. One of them is when we don't have a subject. One of them is we don't have a subject, and another is we don't have object behind the relative pronoun, and the other is we have a complete sentence behind the relative pronoun. When we don't have a subject, then we can omit this relative pronoun, so omission is impossible. But when we don't have object behind the sentence, in the sentence behind the relative pronoun, then in this kind of case, then we can omit, we can remove relative pronoun like this. We can omit this when we don't have an object in the sentence behind it. You know what I mean? And for the last one, when we have the complete sentence, then we couldn't omit this whose, so omission is impossible. So impossible, possible, impossible. So we can omit or remove relative pronoun when we don't have object in the sentence behind it. Okay? Then look at this. I met a woman who lives in Korea. As you can see, there is no subject. No subject. There is no subject. Then we couldn't omit a relative pronoun, so we couldn't remove this who in the sentence. But look at this. I like the person which you write. You is a subject and write is a verb. There's no object. There's no object. Then in this kind of case, we can remove, we can omit a relative pronoun, so we can get rid of which in the sentence. I like the poem you write is okay. You know what I mean? Okay. Then just before letting you go, there's one more thing I want to talk about. Look at this. As I said, in this case, we couldn't omit relative pronoun. Omission is impossible in this case. But when you have the verb, be verb, such as is, was, are, were, when you have a be verb, then we can omit relative pronoun including be verb like this. Including be verb. Then we can omit relative pronoun including be verb. So I'll give you just one example. Look at this. This is the watch which is made in China. Look at this. Relative adverb, and we have a be verb. We have a be verb. There's no subject and we have a be verb. Then we can omit this relative adverb, relative pronoun, including be verb like this. We can omit it like this. So this is the watch made in China is correct sentence. You know what I mean? Okay. So this is all for today's class. Bye-bye.